Well, this is Nick Netmacker coming to you live from Virginia Beach, Virginia, with my video log review of Doctor Who Season 5, Episode 5, Flesh and Stone. This is Part 2 continuation of last week's episode, Time of the Angels. Okay, I just want to do a small coda here. I want to tell everybody that subscribes to my channel or watches my vlogs. This will be my last vlog for about 3 weeks because I'm in the Navy and I'm going to be gone in Big Blue for a couple of weeks out at sea. Won't be back till the end of May, so I'm going to have to catch up on the episodes. Probably 3 or so episodes that I missed, that I'm going to miss, and I'll watch them when I get back, and then I will vlog them as I do. But anyway, okay, episode as a whole, pretty freaking awesome. It didn't stop at all. It was just like one after the other, and on and on and on and on and on. Like it was action. It was a little bit of terror in there. It was thriller. It was and it was kind of sad too. There were some really sad, tense moments there where you got to see all different sides of the Doctor. And I guess as each week goes by, Matt Smith is really starting to impress me on how he plays all these different aspects of the Doctor, like in the scenes where he knew that Amy was dying, and River Song seemed to be acting really blasé about the whole thing, and he was getting really pissed off, saying, "Do you have a better option?" Because she didn't think that having Amy walk via the sound coming from the communicator would work to get her back to the ship, or to get her back to the where the Doctor and she were at. She's saying that's never going to work, and he just looks at her and was like, "What have you got?" He was getting you could tell he only gets this when he gets really nervous, and he was scared because he was afraid he was going to lose her. He didn't have any other option at that point because she was all by herself. I love what Moffat's done with the Angels, because even though Blink was a really great episode, they were kind of one-sided and they can only do so much. Now he's given them he's made them all very much rounded. They can do so much more here, and he's made them infinitely more scary in the fact that they don't, like I said last week, they don't just displace people in time. They can touch you and kill you if they really want to. So apparently, when the Doctor shot the gun off, it caused gravity to reverse. So they were actually on top, whereas the Angels were at the bottom and they were looking down at them. So that saved them for the moment. And they managed to get into a passageway within the vessel. And the Doctor had to turn the lights off for about a second in order to get the doors to open. And it was kind of a tense moment there, because you could see every time the muzzles on the guns flashed, every time that the cleric shot, you could see the Angels getting closer and closer and closer. So it was very, very tense. And then they got to this control console area, and the Doctor figured out that beyond the doors was this manufactured oxygen haven full of trees, because obviously they need to breathe. So he comes up with the idea of going through the forest to get to the main pilot house control room, so that he can find a way for them to escape. And the weird thing that goes on when this happens is that as he's talking to Amy, she keeps counting down numbers. She starts at 10 and then she starts counting down, and they're like, "What is she saying that?" Because she apparently doesn't even realize that she's saying it. And what they don't come to realize until a little bit later on is that she's, like, in a way, counting down seconds till she dies. If she keeps her eyes open any longer, the Angel's going to kill her. Because when she looked at the Angel in the recording, and it came out of the recording into real life. The angel went into her mind, and she can see it in her eyes. She can see it, and in her mind, she believes it. Her eyes believe that it's there, and it's going to kill her. So the only way to stop it from killing her was to have her close her eyes so that she couldn't see it. So now she has to walk around pretty much blinded for almost the entire rest of the episode to slow it down until the doctor can figure out how to get rid of them. So he decides that it's the best way to keep her alive is to have the clerics watch her while he, Riversong, and the bishop go to find this control room so that they can find a way out. He thinks if he can get in there, he can find the teleport system they have, teleport all of them into the control room, and then find a way to escape. There's a lot of great little moments there when Amy is laying on the ground and she knows she doesn't know yet that she's dying, and the doctor goes over to look at her to make sure that she's okay, and River is trying to be nice about it and trying to tell her that she's okay. And it's like, no, Amy, you're dying. I mean, what? I can't. How can we just not tell her that she's dying? Obviously, she's dying. Not telling her is not going to make her any better. And that's a whole doctor thing. That's very much a doctor thing, to be completely brutally honest. The man doesn't know how to lie, at least not effectively, unless he's consciously having to do it for a reason. Otherwise, logically for him, it makes no sense. Even though, you don't want to just go out and admit to somebody that they're dying like that and be completely heartless, but that's just how the doctor is. He's like Rose used to say back in season 2, rude and not ginger, just rude. He doesn't always take into account other people's feelings at times. But it is true. I guess he kind of knew that lying to her wasn't gonna help her and wasn't gonna cure her. Better that she know and die knowing than them try to make her feel better and her to continue to suffer. So she leaves them. He leaves her behind, but not without trying to give her some sort of comfort to let her know that he will in fact come back. Because in the past he keeps saying that, and it takes him like months and years to come back, and she's afraid that he's going to leave her behind. But he says to her not to worry, because he always comes back and he promises her that he will be there. So 3 of them go off to find the main control room, leaving her with the 5 clerics. Now, just before that, when they were in the secondary control room, that's when he sees the crack, and he begins the crack, the one that looks like the one from Amy Pond's bedroom wall, and he begins to realize that this has been following them, and then he really should have seen it, but he was too distracted. He didn't realize it was there. He's not quite sure what it means yet, but by the end of the episode, he figures it out, and it raises a lot of questions, a lot of paradoxical questions, actually. And I'm going to get to that in part 2 as soon as I come back.